Hi everyone, welcome back. So we're going to try and work out maximum and minimum extreme values for our trend line. So let's have a look at this very rough diagram. Pretend I have four data points represented by the x's, and I have a trend line running through them, which is the black curve shown there. Pretty much what we've done so far. I've got vertical error bars on each, greatly exaggerated. Now imagine that the the data point was at its lowest possible for the first half, the first two, and then suddenly jumped to the highest possible for the second half. This would give me the most extreme possible trend line, which I've shown here in green, be rising a lot more rapidly. On the other hand, perhaps the data values were at the highest possible point at the beginning and then suddenly at the lowest possible point. And this would give me a much more gentle trend line I've shown here in red. Now that's what we're going to try to do in Excel with our data to get not only our trend line, but the maximum and minimum possible trend lines as well. So let's see what we could do. I'll label this first one as maximum, and then the next column as minimum. And I see that we have got 66 data points. So that I don't get myself confused, the first 33 data points, which would be there, the first 33 data points, let's just put some very light shading in the background of those cells. And then the next 33 data points, I'll use that same pink shade. That's just to help me from getting muddled up. Now, if I want the steepest possible line, I want them to be on the low side of the error bars at the beginning and then suddenly jump to the high side. To be on the low side of the error bars, I want my measurement and then I want to subtract the size of the uncertainty. So remember earlier we said this could be as low as 314.9 because this measurement subtract the two. Now we'll copy those ones. Sorry, I missed. We'll copy those ones down until we get to the end of there. Now this is where we want to suddenly swap. So I have my observation, and this time I'll be adding, notice the plus sign, the uncertainty. So we're suddenly going to the high side of the data points for those numbers there. Now, I will plot them eventually, but before that, I think I need to do the minimums. To do the minimums, I'll have to be on the high side to start with. So that means data value plus the uncertainty, the opposite of what we did a moment ago. Copy those down halfway to there. And then I'll suddenly have to switch to being on the low side by subtracting the uncertainty. Again, opposite of what we did a moment ago. Now there's a whole bunch of extra numbers there, which I wish to add to my graph. So I click the graph, it highlights the numbers I'm currently using. I don't want to change those, but I do want to go up here to chart design and then to select data. And I currently have one data series, but I wish to add a new data series. I'll call this one maximum. The time values are column B, there they are. And then the Y values for the maximum are these ones here. Add that to the chart. While I'm here, I might as well add the minimums. So I'll give that series the name min. Select the years as the X coordinates for these points. And then select column H as the Y coordinates of these points. Now, when we go back to look at our chart, you can clearly see there's these orange dots at the bottom edge, and then they suddenly jump to the top, and green dots at the top, and they suddenly jump to the bottom. And that's pretty ugly looking appearance of our graph, but we will fix that up in our next installment. Thanks for watching.